Good evening and welcome back to the live netcast channel of BlueLink. We are again trying to establish the facts and activities of civil society activists in the areas and countries involved in the military conflict taking place over the last few days in Ukraine. This time our guest is Andrey Kalikh. Andrey Kalikh is an experienced anti-corruption activist, pro-democracy campaigner, and we have been successfully partnering with him over the years on different anti-corruption projects across Europe and Russia. Andrey is based in St. Petersburg, and as we're learning, he was detained yesterday after going out on the streets of St. Petersburg to protest against the military invasion of Ukraine. Andrey, could you please share, first of all, with our viewers your observations and your story of what actually happened yesterday? I will try to show some video in the meantime.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you very much, Pavel, for your kind introduction. Yes, I'm a Russian anti-corruption journalist and democracy activist, acting mostly in St. Petersburg, but I have connections to international investigative journalistic teams in different countries of the European Union, and I'm working with them. I'm taking part in a number of protests which have started right after the invasion of Russia's invasion to Ukraine. So since the last Thursday, 24th of February, I was detained yesterday just in a group of the people who were on the street protesting the Russian invasion.
We are actually seeing a video of you being detained.
Yeah, this is exactly the video. Yeah.
So what was the justification? What was the reason for this violent action against you?
The reason was that I was calling other people to help victims of the police brutal action, because before me they were starting to beat some girls. Just on the street, there was a group of very young people, maybe students, mostly students, who were blocked just on the edge of the corner on the street by police members. There's a special force police members, and they were very brutally just beaten for nothing, for calling no war or just Russia go out from Ukraine or something like this. So it was a peaceful rally with a very small, a few number of people. There were maybe no more than 100 people on the street yesterday. At this point, at this geographical point of St. Petersburg, there were different groups who were spread across the very center of the city. But in this exactly in this point, there were just maybe 100 people, not more. And they were blocked by the special forces. And I just called and was shouting quite loudly, just release them or don't beat or something like this. And I was attacked by two policemen from behind who were started to beat me. They put my hat like this. And they were screaming and just brutally threatening me. And as you can see on the picture, on the video, of course, they just put me down on the street, on the road where actually the cars are going, and I was not able to stay anymore, and I just fell down very brutally.
If you don't mind me, I will show this video again. It's quite disturbing, but I think it is worth actually sharing the picture one more time. Here it is. This is a still shot, of course, and
yeah, this is what happens.
What is the sense among activists and civil society people in Russia who are concerned with the use of military force? I will show another picture which shows another probably more popular protest again in St. Petersburg. Are there many people who are willing to voice an anti-war opinion?
No, unfortunately not many. And this is of course the problem, but it's quite, it's very, there are strong justifications for this. I don't shame these people, I don't blame these people also, because Russia is now absolutely a not semi-authoritarian country, but fully authoritarian country where people are really afraid to go on the street. And this picture you show, Pavel, shows a really a very rare moment when we see lots of people. They're not afraid to go out, and they know exactly about the prospects of this getting out actually on the streets, because they could be brutally detained by police again. And the police, you don't see it on the edge of this picture. There are many buses, police buses staying just behind of the picture on the right side. And I know when people are screaming something like, you know, some anti-military slogans or something like this, they have really sometimes troubles with the police.
What I am noticing here is these are mostly young people, at least here in the front.
Exactly. Yes.
So, what is your observation? Who are the people who are willing to take the risk against police brutality and actually voice?
Yeah, but first of all, I should say Russian society is very much separated by the elderlies and youngsters. Elderlies who are voting for Putin's regime, they're just deciding for our future, which is disgusting, of course. And there are only young people who are going out of the streets and going to protest, you know, any war crimes or any government activities by Russia, because they don't watch propaganda TV. They use only reliable sources of information. They know what's going on actually in the country. They have grew up actually in a new society already, so they know what democracy is. They went to the West countries also. They saw the life abroad, so they know what democracy is actually, and therefore they are bearers of the democratic values. But there are very few people, unfortunately, and the civil society is, of course, very much divided by the repressions right now, which is going on. For example, today, the oldest non-government organization Memorial was banned by the Supreme Court, which is absolutely horrible. And discussing on the background of the military crisis in Ukraine, it doesn't seem like a horrible sensation. But instead of that, in a different times, it will be a really scandal in the world. Now it's just banned. I'm very much afraid of Alexei Navalny, the opposition leader #1 in Russia, who is now in jail. And today is his 5th day of his new trial. And I'm very much afraid for his life today, because nobody cares anymore what's going to happen with him and what could happen to him when Putin suddenly wants to shoot him down, or to, you know, there are many threats.
Andrey, is there anything which the Western or let's say the global pro-democratic civic movement could do to help better fellow activists, fellow democratically minded people in Russia?
I don't know that. I'm not sure that we need the help really at this moment. I think our entire task of this civilized world, a democratic world, is to cut down this threat of, let's say, Putin's regime, which became really now on the edge of political life in the West, in the world. It became dangerous for all of us. So we should push the regime out. We should. I would call the Western countries, EU countries, just to make any kind of efforts possible to impose new sanctions against the regime, against the Putin's violence. We don't afraid of what's going on with the country. We are really afraid of what is going to be with our world. That's the main important point now at the moment. So we should decide about the threats and about the world's peace security for all of us.
Thank you, Andrey. In Bulgaria, in many other European Union countries, there has been rallies, protests, expressions of solidarity, and apparently this also mounts up to pressure on the European governments to act. We saw over the last days that the decisiveness of these governments has increased, and we are looking forward in many ways to see a resolution to this crisis, which hopefully would be, first of all, to the best of the world in terms of avoiding a global conflict, but also to the best of freedom, to the best of human rights, and the choice of every individual and every country to decide on the way they want to live. Thank you very much for your time. We are remaining connected through Blue Links channel, and we will keep searching for the viewpoints, for the facts that bring light on the role of civil society in the context of the current conflict. Stay with us.
Thank you, Pavel.